And this particular practice that I'd like to introduce you to is called three-part yogic breathing. Breathing is a key component, a key ingredient, if you will, of mindfulness. And this particular practice can be done absolutely anywhere. You can do it on a bus, you could do it at a bus stop, you could do it in the supermarket, you could do it absolutely anywhere. And the purpose of this particular practice is to help us center ourselves and to center our attention. And that essentially is what mindfulness is. Focusing one's attention in the present moment is actually a definition of mindfulness. So to begin this practice, I'm going to ask everybody just to get comfortable. And so if you're seated, you can remain seated. If you're more comfortable on the floor, get on the floor. If you're more comfortable reclined, recline, whatever works for you, okay? But just get comfortable and get into a position that you can sustain for a bit. And if you were seated, I'm going to ask you to try and see if you could bring your feet to the floor so you're grounded and you're grounding into the earth. But again, you can sit, you can stand, you can be reclined. Your eyes can be open. You can have your eyes partially open or completely closed. And you can veer between any of those. Sometimes we think about mindfulness or various meditative stances as having to be almost like statues. We have to somehow kind of stay in one position. And that's typically not comfortable and typically not doable. So get in whatever position works best for you. And again, this particular practice is called three-part yogic breathing. And the focus of this practice is breathing deeply and beginning to breathe deeply in that area right below the belly button. And I mean, literally right below the belly button. And it may help if you place one palm at that spot. So again, we're talking about the upper abdomen, that space right below the belly button, and then placing your other palm, it doesn't matter which one, over your heart space. And what you're going to hear over the next 8 weeks in any movement sessions we engage in and other breathing sessions we engage in, when I ask you or one of our other facilitators asks you to place your hands over your heart or a palm over your heart. In yogic philosophy, we believe the heart center is in the middle of the chest. So you have your anatomical heart, which you can feel, and you also have the middle of your chest. So if you're not certain where that is, you can take a peek and look up here at me. But again, your palm over that middle space, what we call the spiritual heart. So again, eyes may be closed, partially closed, or completely open, whatever works best for you. And what I'm going to ask you to do just to begin this practice is I'm going to ask you to take one breath, one really deep breath, and start to pull that breath up. So start at that abdomen region where you can feel it. And you might feel on that inhale, you might feel your belly get big. You might feel it reach into the palm of your hand. And then pull that breath up through the torso, up all the way to that upper chest area where the other palm is. And when you reach there, then expel that breath and allow that breath to go back out. So let's start again. We're going to feel the breath beginning, part one, in that abdomen region. Bring it up through the torso and all the way up to the upper chest, and then let it go out again. But I want you to think in terms of threes. So segmenting your breathing in terms of threes. So as you come up, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale again, 1, 2, 3, expelling the breath, 2, 3. Go at your own pace, but segment the breath in those 3 parts where you can really feel the strength of your breathing as it begins in that abdomen region, coming up and up through the solar plexus, the upper torso, the upper chest, and then letting that breath go. And let's go a few more rounds just like that. And again, go at your own pace. Be certain the breaths are deep and full. And don't come to your edge where you feel like you have to grasp at breathing. Try to allow it to become smooth. Almost imagine when you're expelling the air, you're expelling your breath. Imagine water falling. And then coming back up. And see if while you're doing this, you can soften something. Can you soften your jaw? Can you soften the area around your eyes and your eye sockets? Can you perhaps soften your forehead? Can you soften your scalp? Continue that breath pattern. And again, consider softening something. Maybe the area around your neck, the area behind your neck, right below the scalp. Can you soften your shoulders? Many of us tend to draw our shoulders up when we're tense or tight or anxious. We're learning something new. Maybe we soften our thinking, our expectations, our judgments. Let's go a few more rounds with 3-part yogic breathing. Again, full breaths. Allow your body to help you create the rhythm. As you inhale, after your next round of breath, if you'd like, you can keep your palms where they are, one over the heart space, one over that upper abdomen, or you can allow your palms to rest in your lap or just someplace else. But remain in a comfortable space. Or we'd like to invite you to find a whole new one if the space you're in has become uncomfortable or tight or not working for you. And I'd like to invite you to join us as we move into a short but very, very potent story. And the title of this particular story is A Heavy Load. And it comes from a series of Zen vignettes, short Zen narratives. Two traveling monks reached a town where there was a young woman waiting to step out of her sedan chair. The rains had made deep puddles, and she couldn't step across without spoiling her silken robes. She stood there, looking very cross and impatient. She was scolding her attendants. They had nowhere to place the packages they held for her, so they couldn't help her across the puddle. The younger monk noticed the woman, said nothing, and walked by. The older monk quickly picked her up and put her on his back, transporting her across the water and putting her down on the other side. She didn't thank the older monk. She just shoved him out of the way and departed. As they continued on their way, the young monk was brooding and preoccupied. After several hours, unable to hold his silence, he spoke out. That woman back there was very selfish and rude, but you picked her up on your back and you carried her. And then she didn't even thank you. I set the woman down hours ago, the older monk replied. Why are you still carrying her? Perhaps go a few more rounds with the 3-part yogic breathing. And consider, if you will, what you may be carrying. What is something you may be carrying that you can set aside, that you can let go of? Something that perhaps has served you for a very long time, but is no longer serving. Something that perhaps has gotten you out of tight spots, has even helped you survive difficult situations, but no longer serves. And simply consider. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you.